Viewers and subscribers, welcome back to Beating the Press podcast. I am your host, Rafa. Now, coming up in this evening's podcast, we're going to be reviewing the weekend action. Arsenal drawing 1-1 with Man City. And of course, the big surprise, Manchester United getting the better of Chelsea. Now, joining me this evening to review these matches and to talk some EPL football, we have returning to the podcast, Christoph.
Good to be back, viewers.
Yes, Christoph, nowhere else to start but over there at the Emirates. Arsenal taking on Man City. That game ending in a 1-1 draw. What's your take on that game? Was it the expected result or did the result surprise you?
Um, Obviously, I wanted Arsenal to win, and I partially expected Arsenal to win. Um, that was the first goal Arsenal has conceded so far this season from open play. The other one being the free kick from Liverpool. So I don't know. I thought this potentially the lineup was wrong. The lineup Mikel Arteta put out, he picked the wrong lineup. I was a little surprised to see Trossard starting out wide, but I guess he saw something in the Bilbao match that he wanted to play him in that game. But Eze on the bench a little bit surprising. I thought Eze would have started out left, and then I was expecting the Mourinho, Rice, and Zubamendi midfield. I think it was a wrong midfield. And we saw that he felt that way as well because he made changes at halftime, probably because they were trailing 1-0, and then that kind of changed the game for the better for Arsenal. Granted, they did not get that equalizer until deep into stoppage time. But I feel
So,
like the
so,
lineup, the choice of lineup was wrong.
so you're saying the approach was wrong as well. I mean, to me, as I had previously mentioned in the preview show, I expected a draw, and so said, so done. I also expected Arteta to take a negative approach to this game, especially with the starting three defensive midfielders, when you brought Eze for this exact reason, a replacement for Odegaard. So to me, Arsenal and Arteta took an approach of trying not to lose the game as opposed to going out and getting the win. That's just my read on the situation.
um, I don't know if I would say I thought Eze should have started in that attacking midfield
Of
role,
course,
but I
definitely. That's
don't
why you bought him.
I don't know if you call it a negative approach
I call it a negative
when you
approach.
are the team that dominated the game, dominated touches and
No,
so
but
on.
no, how the game unfolded calls for those changes. And as you rightfully mentioned, at halftime, he tried to rectify the blunder with the starting 11. That's the only reason a coach is going to make two changes at halftime. Because the initial starting 11 was just not getting the job done. And having gone one goal down, you then decide to make the changes, the attacking changes. In other words, you believe the 11 out there could not get the job done in terms of coming from behind. That's simply what he's saying to me. The 11 you
Yes and
started, you
no.
had no faith in them pulling it back. Hence, you made the change at halftime.
Yeah, yes and no. I think it wasn't just the fact that they were trailing at halftime. The 11 that started, you would say, all right, he took off Madueke. I think Madueke was playing well first half. The problem was, I think Madueke limped off at halftime, so there was definitely an injury, potential
Right.
injury there. All right, the fact that Man City was doubling up on Madueke, I think is another reason he wasn't getting past the 2, 3 men that were closing him
Yeah,
down.
but if you're doubling up on one player, it means that other players over the pitch are free.
Uh, Not really. What Man City
What do you mean, not really? If
no,
three
just listen.
players are around one,
Just
it means other
listen, no
people on the
man.
field is freed.
Yeah, other people on the field are free, but what? You have to be able to get the ball over to the other players on the field. And
Well, that's a different
if
conversation.
you are encircled by 3, 4 players, then there's potentially no passing route for you, which is what you
Well,
see. Madueke was being doubled up on, and at one point I saw Gyökeres was being quadrupled on, and very
So,
shocking to me.
so question to you though. At the end of this game, of course, this game ending 1-1, who is the happier manager at the end of this game?
I don't think any of them are happy.
Yeah, but who is happier?
I
Who would have been satisfied with this result based on how the game unfolded?
I I do not think any of them are satisfied with the result. I don't think either of them are satisfied with the result. Pep Guardiola
Personally,
is
I don't. If this is the approach that Arteta is going to continuously take, I don't see Arsenal. Well, I
so
at the start of the season, I didn't see Arsenal winning the league. And if this is the approach Arteta is going to take, I worse don't see Arsenal winning the league.
here's what I think. I think not Pep Guardiola. Man City is potentially somewhat happier with the result, not Pep Guardiola. I can tell you that Pep Guardiola is probably fuming after this game because he chose to park the bus, go against all of his principles to try and get a win at Arsenal. Um, Tells me that either I think Pep was very weary of losing three of the opening five, right?
Okay.
And as well as he thought Arsenal were much stronger than him. So that is the only reason to take an approach like this from a
Well,
Pep Guardiola.
look at the Arsenal squad. They are much stronger.
Yeah,
Look
I
at the
agree.
squad. But yet Arteta is not utilizing it. That's the point we are making, or as at least I am making. Let's see that Arsenal is stronger, yet Arteta is playing his three defensive mid. How? Make it make sense to me. Please make it make sense. How? And you went
Again,
out and bought an attacking mid for this very reason. Player out injured, Odegaard, you have a ready replacement right there. Come on. It makes no sense. No logical sense. Even the opposition think that you're stronger than them, yet you take a negative approach. You're playing not to lose as opposed to playing to win. If, as I said, this was the same approach in the Liverpool game. This is the same approach versus Man City. If Arsenal is going to approach big games, quote and unquote, big games, this way, then I don't see them winning the league. You have to go out there, take the game by the scruff of the neck, and win. Get your 3 points, especially at home. Especially at home. If it was an away game, then you had the excuse that, hey, playing away, being cautious, etc., etc. But you're playing in front of your home fans. You have to take the game to these teams. It was a disappointing setup for me from an Arsenal perspective, but I wasn't surprised. And the scoreline, I wasn't surprised. I called a draw, and the draw it was. I'm not sure what to say. I'm not even an Arsenal fan, and I'm feeling disappointed. What was your sentiment when you starting 11 though, Christoph? As a Arsenal fan, is it an 11 you believe could have won that game?
it is aside from Trossard, it is an 11 that I expected. Uh, I
Oh, so
felt
who would have been your choice on the left hand side
Oh,
of that attack?
I mean, aside from
If
Trossard,
yeah, if not Trossard, then who?
I thought they would have persisted with Eze out on the left, to be honest.
Oh, Eze
That's why,
out on the
yeah,
left.
that's the
Got
only
you.
change, right? I expected Saliba to come back in, but I felt like Mascara has done enough to have retained his place in the squad for
Well,
this
if
game.
there's a fit Saliba, you have to play him.
Eh,
I mean, he's the number one choice. So if he's fit
No
and ready
goal
to
has
go, play
no
him.
goal. Mascara has not conceded any goals.
True, but at the end of the day, Saliba is your number one choice centre back. So it's just like Van Dijk. If Van Dijk went out injured for Liverpool and he is back and ready to go, you have to play him. Regardless of how the team is performing without him there, he is your number one. He has to go right back in the starting 11. So I don't have a problem with that change. I don't think that was the issue. The issue was that midfield and the lack of attacking quality, the lack of service. that Gokira's was also getting as well. So it made him look poor because he was just not getting any service. No chances being created. So it's not a case where
But
chances were being created and he's missing.
that is
He
how
didn't
it
get a
has been
sniff.
for him all season. And as I said it even from the preseason, they were
Mm.
having a hard time getting the ball to him for some reason. I don't think it's that difficult to get the ball to a striker.
Ah, disappointment. Disappointing. As an Arsenal fan, Christoph, I would definitely be disappointed when I saw that result. You had Man City there for the taking. The weakest Man City team, I would think, in the Pep era. And to me, this is the strongest Arsenal team within that Pep era as well. So you had the strongest Arsenal versus the weakest Man City, and Arteta chose to take a defensive approach. Shocking stuff. Shocking stuff indeed. But such are these things. Such are these things. The next big game we had, Christoph, was Manchester United at home getting the better of Chelsea. That game ending in a 2-1 defeat. I would say a shock. 2-1 defeat. I had Chelsea winning this game, but Manu came good on this occasion. What's your take on the game? I mean,
I
it was an
mean,
early sending off for the goalkeeper, but what's your take?
I mean, if you recall, I did give Manu a lot of praise coming into this game, so to speak. I said I didn't think it would be a case of they would lose again, so to speak. It's a game where they were going to, like I said, they always seem to find form when it comes to Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea. Those games, they will find the form. Again, they found the form for the game, right? Granted, they were helped by an early red card to what's the keeper name? Sanchez?
Sanchez.
Sanchez, right? Granted, they also got another red card themselves, Casemiro, but that early red card did help them that man advantage. It looks like that's what they need to get some results, some man advantage. But
Yeah, and
coming
definitely they took full advantage of that extra man by going 2 goals up. But to me, Christoph, to me, watching the game,
mhm,
yes, goalkeeper red card, correct decision. But I felt the Chelsea coach panicked.
because he took
But
out
I
Cole
can
Palmer,
understand the thinking. I can understand the thinking. The thinking
right?
is on two front. Well, what I'm hearing is that Cole Palmer picked up an injury.
Okay,
So obviously you would have to take off an outfielder to bring on a replacement
our
goalkeeper,
replacement Q, yeah.
right? But then why take off Neto simultaneously? That is the baffling decision to me. Why take Neto off at that moment? Why not sub the goalkeeper on, look to see over the next 5 to 10 minutes how the game played, and then you can make any tactical tweaks or changes at that point. But I can understand that you only have what 3 windows to make 5 changes. So
Right.
to me, possibly that was his thinking that he had to make a double substitution right there in
I don't
order to probably utilize his 5 changes later on in
I
the game.
I don't think so. I think you make the single substitution, bring on the keeper.
Right.
You have half time to make a change
Of
to
half
change the
time,
game.
or as I said, look at how the game is playing out over the next 5 to 10 minutes. Give the team a chance to settle with the 10 men and see how things are progressing. And then if you realize player two is not coping, then you can make the change. And also you have to consider the fitness element. You're playing what? A long stretch, what, 70 plus minutes with 10? So it's gonna take a toll on the players physically. You want to spread our, your substitutions around so that you keep the team fresh. So to me, that was a baffling decision. And while the 10 men obviously hurt Chelsea, I thought the panic by the coach also aided in that as well. And I mean, as I said, Manu took full advantage of it, coming up with 2 goals, going 2-0 up. Chelsea pulling one back, but it was too little too late at that point in time. And kudos to Manchester United for taking full advantage of such a situation. I mean, you're handed these advantages. You have to you have to accept it. What says you though? Is this a turning point for Manchester United or this is just a one-off result?
Too late to say. Right now you can only look at the game in isolation. The next game, you have to wait till the next game
Well,
and
again,
decide if
Manchester
it's a turning
United have
point.
failed to. to get back-to-back wins under Amarin since he has taken over. So if I was a betting man, I would definitely be going draw or lose in the next game
Hold on.
because Manchester United have failed to get back-to-back
Man,
wins.
you have not gotten back-to-back wins under
Man U
Amarin?
has not gotten back-to-back
Really?
wins under Amarin.
That is interesting. I did not know
Yeah,
that.
a very interesting fact. So as I said, if I was a betting man, then I would definitely be backing the next team that Manchester United plays because over the course of Amarin's tenure, they are yet to pick up two W's in a row. It's either been a win, then a loss, or a win, then a draw, but never two W's
I mean,
consecutively.
yeah, they took advantage of having the extra man, but to me, they look the same in terms of their play. I didn't see a cutting edge or a quality above what we've seen so far this season. Despite winning this game, their best play did come against Arsenal.
Well, and
Despite winning this
again,
game, their best play came against Arsenal.
a lot have been said about the three at the back system that Amarin has been playing.
Change it.
Finally, we saw a change from that, but it was because of Man U going down to 10 men. We finally saw a change in the formation, but that was forced. So the persistence continue, and on this occasion, it paid off for Manchester United. But definitely interesting times ahead, and Chelsea had a golden opportunity, but again it seems as if Chelsea is really not ready to make a title push. It seems that their best bet is possibly a finish in the top four. I think the title is too much for Chelsea. And I just think that even though they have been doing a lot of business, Christoph, the business they're doing is average players coming into that team. You
But
don't see any world beaters in that Chelsea team. Cole Palmer aside, to me that's the only top quality signing they've made since the new owners have taken over at Chelsea. That's the
but
only man you could say could get into a possibly World 11. And when
I
you look
don't.
around the league, you have Team
I
Man U, several players from Man City, Haaland, Donnarumma. When you look at Liverpool, the same. A number Gravin Birch, Isak, and you look at Arsenal, the same. A number of Arsenal's players could possibly get into a World 11. But when you look at Chelsea, the
Gabriel
only man you can
Saliba.
mention is really just Cole Palmer. And they've made so many signings. But to me, they are all average players.
But I mean, this is not anything new. I've said this that Chelsea's recruitment has been poor over the years for the last couple of years. You don't spend upwards of 2 billion on a squad, and you don't and aside from Cole Palmer, none of them can start in any of the big teams.
To me, is a definite problem that Chelsea have. Whether it be defensively in the middle or up front. Even with the signing, this season they signed two strikers, Pedro Dilap, plus they sold Jackson. And
Jackson was
it's
sold.
almost
I
right.
thought he
Jackson
was
is
on
now
loan.
at Bayern Munich.
Oh, so he was sold to Bayern. Okay, thought he was on loan or something.
I think he was sold, either sold or loaned with an obligation to buy, one of the two. But at least for this season, he's not a Chelsea player. So
Okay.
Chelsea are without his services. Dilap is out injured, and Joe Pedro is more of some kind of hybrid number nine. He's not an out and out striker. He's not gonna get you 20 goals a season. And if you're looking at a team that's gonna lift the title, most teams would want a striker who is going to get them 20 plus goals or upwards of 15 or 15 plus 5. So maybe 15 goals, 5 assists for, a 20 goal contribution. Liverpool has that in a Mo Salah who have done it year after year after year. And Arsenal went out and got their number 9, Gokieres, still unproven, but at least you have a body in the door, someone who has the potential to really get you 20 plus goals. So if you're looking at ticking off those check boxes, and of course we know Man City already have that with Haaland. So to me, those are the three teams in the title conversation. Chelsea still on the outside looking in. And as you said, to me, it's just poor business. Well, poor business in terms of footballing business. Excellent business if you're looking at the finances. But in terms of bringing in quality players to represent the club on the field, it's been poor. But good business in terms of bringing in players and selling them at a profit. That has been excellent. But I think Chelsea is really at that crossroad. Is it business or is it football? That seemed to be where the club philosophy seemed to be on a knife's edge. Are they going for business, as in the finances, or are they going for football in terms of pushing for a title? Currently, as it stands, I don't see them winning this season. And if they're not going to bring in any quality
Let me ask you a
recruits,
question. Let me ask you a
I'm not
question.
sure what will go
Could
on next season.
could it be just the coach then? Maybe a replacement of the coach could get more out of the players that they have.
No, you could bring Pep into that team, slot into that team. They're still not going to win the title. To
Mm,
win the title, you need quality players, but you can lose the title with quality players. And that
I
seemed to
mean,
be the situation which is
I
reaching
mean,
Arsenal.
these are the guys who won the Club World Cup.
Again, yes, these are the guys who won the Club World Cup, but this is a league. This is 38 games. It means you need to be consistent over a 38-year period. Winning the Club World Cup is 7 games. Winning the Club World Cup, you just need to be consistent for 7 games, which they did. They were. But winning a league, that is the true test of a team. That you have to play teams home and away over the long haul where your squad depth is tested, you're participating in other competitions, you're getting injured, the manager has to come up with different tactics to combat different teams. So there's a lot. And to me, right now, Chelsea doesn't have the players in terms of the quality to really get that job done. And that's why you're gonna lose to teams like Manchester United. You're gonna draw with teams like Brentford after leading 2 goals, being 2 goals up, because of that inconsistency in their play. And of course, the heavy dependency as well on that man, Cole Palmer. And now he's dealing with an injury. He seemed to have a nagging grind injury, and the coach seemed not to have any quality in depth. Hence, he is bringing him back pretty quickly into the team, which seemed to have re-aggravated that injury, Christoph. This is almost reminiscent of Arteta consistently playing soccer until he played him into an injury. But that's a positive because we saw Saka coming back into the team. So he seemed to have recovered, and probably the injury list over there at Arsenal is getting shorter.
Not really. You you got one out of injury last week, and then one went back and one came out. So
Well, time is the master. Time is definitely master. But surprising result. But congratulations to Manchester United. Hopefully, we can see a rise in their performance going forward. But a number of other games, Christoph, were on display. Of course, we had the Merseyside derby. And of course, league leaders, Liverpool, coming up with a 2-1 win over Everton. What was your take on that game? Was it a deserved win for Liverpool, or was it a lucky win?
um, it was a deserved win in the sense that Liverpool they came out strong. They got 2 goals first half, but then after that Liverpool just looked like rubbish. I don't know what happened. It to me it's as if they said 2 goals, we got those 2 early goals, we're winning, and
Right?
then second half they look like rubbish. So I'm not sure what happened. I don't know what was said in
Simply,
the
it's a
dressing room.
case where they weren't pushed to really switch into third gear, to be honest with you. I mean, Everton did pull a goal back, which it's, again asks some questions of the Liverpool defense, seemingly unable to keep a clean sheet these days. Granted, one of our subscribers, Christoph, did make the correction for you that Liverpool indeed has 2 clean sheets over the period and not one. They had a clean sheet versus Arsenal, and they also had a clean sheet versus Burnley. So big up to Chris. Ironically, big up to Chris for pointing that out in the comment section. Appreciate the support. But yeah, Chris was right. Liverpool do have 2 clean sheets, but I don't. The
I
defense currently doesn't
I
bring you any confidence of them
the,
keeping a clean sheet from game to
the
game.
defense aside, I don't think it's just a case of them not being forced to switch into third gear, man. I think Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City. They have a bunch of new players that are starters now, and I don't think the teams have gelled as yet. So we don't see
Right.
any of the three of them really, fluid, fully fluid. I think that's probably the issue for them, especially
Well, it
for
should be ominous signs for the league then, because imagine when Liverpool, Christoph, is fully fluid. Liverpool is still unbeaten in five, maximum points from the first five games. So imagine if when they are fully fluid.
that is one way of looking at it. What another way of looking at it is that they're using up all their good luck early out in the league, and they will have
Well, you
to
have to make your
grind
own luck,
out.
you know.
They have to grind out those wins late in the season.
Well, that's a hallmark of champions. They say the hallmark of champions is when you win when you're not playing at your best. And thus far, if we are to believe it, that Liverpool is still trying to find their footing, they're trying to embed new players, the likes of Isaac. Isaac still hasn't started an EPL game as yet for Liverpool. Verts, we saw where the coach made a tactical rotation, and Liverpool looked a bit more fluid, as you say, the three midfielders which were selected for this game, Christoph, were the three midfielders who brought Liverpool to the title last season. And you could see, as you said, that chemistry. It was much more fluid when Vert was in that midfield. But Vert is a quality player and he will be needed, especially when teams are playing that low block or that low block. To unlock those defenses, you can beat a player or two, draw defenders out of position. Verts, wizardry will be needed in those games. So I hear many persons talking about Verts off to a slow start. Yes, the statistics will show that, but the season is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And Liverpool is competing on several fronts in the EPL, the Champions League, the FA Cup, the Carling Cup. Liverpool is still in all competitions, so there's much game time to go around. So it's just a case of the manager picking his best 11 to suit the particular team he is playing. And I thought that was an excellent decision. This is a big Merseyside derby. The new players may not know the history or feel that emotion, that passion that comes with playing in a Merseyside derby. So why not use your more experienced players? And that was the case. So good decision. At the end of the day, Liverpool got another win and we move to the next game. But a deserved win to me, a deserved win. As I mentioned in the pre-show, that the quality at the end of the day will come forward, and that was pretty much it. A very good strike by Gravin Birch to get the first goal, assisted by Salah, and then Gravin Birch returned the assist favor to Eketike, and he slotted that one away. And from the second goal went in, I really didn't see Everton winning. Yes, they got back in the game by getting on the score sheet, but at no point during that game did I feel Everton could really win the game. At some point, yes, you were thinking they may snatch a draw, possibly. Liverpool giving up another goal again, but that wasn't the case. But definitely the defense, Christoph, is to be worked on, getting the right balance between attack and defense. But the good thing about Liverpool is that they have firepower. So it's almost as if you score, we can outscore you. So if you score one, we can score two. If you score two, we can score three. If you score three, we can score four. And that seems to be the case right now. But once Liverpool is able to get a consistent run of some clean sheet, this team looks ominous. And while Arsenal to me has the best squad, Christoph, I would say Liverpool has the best starting 11. What's your take on that?
Uh, um, I would say Arsenal definitely have the best squad, but I wouldn't say Liverpool have the best starting 11. What I would describe it as is that Liverpool probably have the best team to me.
Mm. The best team. Why, why,
Right.
why do you say team? So what's the difference between a team and a squad?
Well, the squad is just your players there, but the best team in terms of how they play, how they're playing, not just the squad. Arsenal have the best squad depth, whatever rotation option. They have players who can fill in at any role, with probably the same amount of quality as who you'd expect as the regular starter. As for Liverpool to me is the best team in that um you will watch a game with Liverpool and somehow Liverpool, 90 plus minutes and somehow they find that extra goal. So it's the best team to me. There's a lot of Fergie time going on for Liverpool especially.
Flat time, it seems, Fergie has retired, so it's now the slot time era. But yeah, for sure, I mean, you have to ride your luck while your luck is flowing in your direction and accumulate the points and try to build yourself a cushion. So if down the line you drop some points, it's not as detrimental as it would be. So, I mean, obviously, at some point in time, Liverpool will drop points. So you have to, in these moments, give yourself a cushion and so far, it's a 5 points cushion. Early days yet. Early days yet. Nothing is decided. They say you can't win the league in September, but you can definitely lose it in September. And thus far, Liverpool is giving themselves a chance to definitely win the league. But interesting times ahead. Aston Villa, Christoph, you spoke about Aston Villa in the pre-show. Aston Villa finally getting on the score sheet in the EPL, their first goal in the league. That coming courtesy of Matty Cash in a 1-1 draw with 10-man Sunderland. Aston Villa took the lead in that one through a cash strike, a swerving shot from outside the 18 yard, catching the keeper moving in one direction. But Sunderland was not to be beaten at home. Sunderland coming back and pulling an equalizer with 10 men. And that game ending in a 1-1 draw. Again, Aston Villa struggling for points early on. And Sunderland really turning the Stadium of Light into darkness for visiting teams, Christoph. No team is yet to beat Sunderland on their home pitch. What's your take on these newly promoted teams, especially Sunderland? Can they
Um,
survive? Led by Shaka, former Arsenal midfielder?
early days, but they've given themselves a good start, so to speak. They're doing well and they're doing everything right at the moment that they need to in order to stay up. Um, Unai Emery, on the other hand, at this rate will probably not make it to December if this continues as is. We do know that the smaller teams are the non-traditional top six teams. They are generally more likely to fire a manager if they're doing poorly versus a Man City, a Arsenal, a United will potentially wait till the end of the season, depending.
But surely, I mean, you don't think Emery job is really in any jeopardy at this point in
I,
time?
I think if this poor run continues, then yeah, probably by December you might see him out the door.
Oh, so you're giving him until December then?
Right, until December. I mean, Aston Villa was, supposed to be in the Champions League this season. If not for some dubious decisions by the referees, because
Yeah, on
some
the
very
final
strange
day.
decisions,
Yeah, definitely.
some very strange
Definitely.
decisions with the call and with the choice of VAR. Very strange in my opinion. And definitely something that Aston Villa, I think Aston Villa did file a complaint over it. Don't know if anything has come of that,
But
but
but from the season though, Christoph, what's the issue you're finding over there at Aston Villa? Why they seem not to be able to, one, even score, and then secondly, get some positive result? What seemed to be the issue this season? What has changed?
well,
Why Aston Villa is playing the way they're playing and getting the type of results they're getting?
one of the major things you probably have to look at is that I don't. Did Aston Villa make any signings?
Yeah, they did make a couple signings. I
How
mean,
many?
Elliott from Liverpool was signed.
And who else?
Groshsan, a striker from the French league, He started in the game versus Sunderland. Um, those were two of the two standout names that were signed. So
Did Leon
while
Bailey get sell?
Leon Bailey, right? Yeah, Leon Bailey, I think
Mo
went to
Saudi
Roma.
League.
It's Roma, over
Okay.
there in Italy. But I believe in his first training session, he picked up an injury. So he hasn't featured yet this season. You know, Ramsey was also sold. Ramsey was sold to Newcastle, and a few players have been out injured. But to me, it's a case of Emery seem to be playing players out of position, almost putting round pegs into square holes. For example, when you look at a Magin is not a winger. Magin can't be playing on the wing and you expect to be winning games. Magin is a central midfielder. Is either Magin play central midfielder or he's on the bench. But you can't have a Magin playing as a winger. So to me, because you're not gonna get many chances being created, he can't run past players. He's not that creative force out on the wing. His best position is in the middle, the engine room of the team. So if you're not gonna play him centrally, then he has to play on the bench. So to me, it's decisions like those which I believe is costing Aston Villa this season, putting round pegs into square holes. And things just not working out for Emery at the start. And then, of course, Watkins up front is starved of chances. I mean, in the Sunderland game, he did get a few chances, which on a different day he could have buried a goal or two. But generally speaking, nothing too clear cut where you're saying how he missed that. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. We have to definitely keep a close eye on Aston Villa going forward. But if Sunderland keep up their rate of play, I think Sunderland should be safe, Christoph, and one of the more established team, maybe the team going down to the championship, a team like West Ham, for example, going down to Crystal Palace. And to me, the manager who's under the most pressure in terms of possibly his job is Potter over there at West Ham. Will he survive the season?
I don't know. Maybe.
Well, if results
Maybe.
don't turn quickly, I don't see him surviving until December for
I
sure.
mean, West Ham was poor last season before Potter arrived, and they've kind of continued in this vein. I think perhaps some if a team was poor and then a new manager comes in and then they're still poor, I can't 100 I cannot put all the blame on the manager. Clearly there's something happening at the club that needs to be examined. I don't know what, but it's not the manager alone. Of course you could fire that manager and another manager come in and everything change.
Right,
But
right, right.
who is to say that whatever was happening before doesn't happen again and you end up back in square one? So if I bring in if it's poor and I bring in a new manager and it's still poor, what is happening at the club?
Interesting times ahead at us over there at West Ham, Christoph, but we're quickly running out of time. In fact, we are out of time, Christoph. We are definitely out of time. Time flies when you're having fun, but another interesting week of results and another interesting the title charge is really on at this point in time. But thanks again, Christoph, for coming on board, sharing your thoughts and your opinions. Viewers and subscribers, thanks again for the tremendous support. Continue to subscribe if you haven't subscribed as yet. And of course, leave your comments in the comment section. Hit that like button and continue to help us to grow. But until next time, this is Rafa signing off.